We're fortunate today to be with Anil. I've had the opportunity to get to know him a little bit in the last hour and researched quite a bit in preparation for this. And I am very impressed with his life, the choices he's made, where he's come from, and with all the intelligence and I think benefit that has come his way from hard work. What's, I think, very impressive is how he's chosen to focus his energy in his life to help people and to really make a huge impact on the next generation. And so you're going to enjoy this today, as I am. And I'm sure I might even hear things we weren't able to talk about yet as he answers some of the questions that we've prepared together. So, Anil, thank you for being with us today.
John, thank you for having me, and thank you for the kind words, and thank you everyone for being here today.
Brilliant. So we'll go through stages of his life and the things he's accomplished, and then at the end we'll have some opportunity for questions from the audience as well. But I also want to put a plug in. One of your students is here today. Is that accurate, or maybe coming?
I think maybe coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
If so, what I'd love to hear from that student, if possible, if we can make it work out. Brilliant. Okay. So Anil's roots are very unique, unlike most American journeys, and unlike most journeys anywhere in the world. So I'd love to start there to some degree. What was life like growing up, Anil, in a small village in India? And then, just for context, from that small village to then moving, to Lucknow and eventually pursuit of degrees at IIT, BHU, and NYU. So you would give us a little bit of flavor of that?
Sure. So I was born in a small village in India. My grandfather was a farmer. Somehow he had this foresight of providing good education to my dad. And I have always wondered, his one decision has changed, made the impact for in at least 2 generations. And I'm sitting here, I feel that the genesis of that can be traced to the decision that my granddad made in terms of providing good education to my dad. So my dad paid it forward. He made sure that I always have good quality education. Was not always easy. I finished my high school, and in India, in order to get into the top engineering college, which is the Indian Institute of Technology, you have to write a common entrance exam. And I will tell you that that exam is hyper competitive. The acceptance rate is less than 1%. Less than 1%. So the first time I wrote, I failed. I did not clear it. My dad was very encouraging even at that time, and he said that let's try it one more time. And he found a good tutor for me. The only thing was the tutor lived like 10 miles away, and I was riding a bicycle every day, 10 miles each way, in order to get to the tutor. Fortunately, I cleared the exam in the second time. So a lot of bicycle ride and a lot of studies. On the plus side, nobody asked me to go to the gym because they knew that I was riding bicycle for 20 miles every day. So I cleared the exam, and I went to Indian Institute of Technology, Varanasi, and that education gave me the confidence to be able to pursue a career in software engineering and to move to New York City. And I started working at Goldman Sachs. So I was at Goldman Sachs, living a good life, and enjoying New York City at that time.
Brilliant. I love the natural struggle that your dad helped you step into of jumping on a bicycle to go study for an exam. I think about that with my own kids. It's hard enough to get them up in the morning and out of bed and to swim practice, which is less than half a mile away in an air-conditioned car. So kudos to you, Anil. Okay, at NYU, you studied information systems. You also took some business courses at Stern. I'm really curious to know, in information systems and as a software engineer by training at that point, what happened for the transition for you to think, I want to go from an engineer to thinking more as an entrepreneur and a founder and an innovator?
So, as I said, I was living a good life in New York City. And then my dad called me one day and he said, Anil, why don't you get a US degree also? So I enrolled in the master's program at NYU. And this was the information systems program. So I was doing half the courses were computer science courses, and the other half were the business courses that I was taking at Stern. And up until that point, I was in a software engineering job. So I thought that I would like the computer science courses more. It turned out quite the opposite. I loved the business courses I was taking at Stern. And so much so that once I graduated, I was talking to one of my mentors, the dean of this MS program at NYU. His name is Arthur Goldberg. So I spoke to Professor Goldberg, okay, what should I do next? And at that time, he is the one who suggested that why don't you start your own business? And that's exactly what I did. So looking back, I feel like that NYU education gave me the confidence to become an entrepreneur, to see myself as an entrepreneur. Before going to NYU, I never considered, not even in my dreams, that I could be an entrepreneur. But that education, NYU education, that exposure to the business courses at Stern, gave me that confidence. Yes, I can be an entrepreneur.
I love that. It reminds me of something I read that you said, and that you called quality education the ultimate catalyst for future and choice, or what? Let me make sure I get that right. Ultimate catalyst for transformation, which is obvious in your life.
I think, yeah, when I reflect on my own journey, being born in a small village in India to a successful entrepreneur living in US, I feel that education has transformed my life. And that good quality education that I received in India as well as at NYU has been the catalyst for that transformation.
It's brilliant. I love hearing this. Okay, after NYU, you talked to Professor Goldberg. He asked the question, why not start your own business? So this is where we the journey into Hanu, right? Do you want to explain that to us and how that happened? And those that have started companies and those that have been part of starting companies, it is hard. So you go from education to then all of a sudden realizing I love business, and now I have this professor telling me, go learn all these foreign languages, which is business and starting your own.
I feel that being an entrepreneur is more like walking into unknown. Walking into a room which is full of darkness, nothing but darkness. And you have to figure everything out, from building your own team to what the product or service is going to be, who are your customers, who are your advisors. And the first few years were very, very hard. I think one thing I learned in the initial stages, we were trying to be everything to everyone. So Hanu, in the beginning, was a software services company. So we were taking on all the projects, any and all projects that we can get our hands on. So if somebody said that, okay, let's develop a custom software in .NET and SQL Server, we said yes. Somebody said, can you do that in PHP and MySQL? We said yes. Somebody said, clean my toilet. We said yes. Right? We were saying yes to everything. Um, then I came across this Jim Collins book, Good to Great. And one of the concepts that Jim talks about in the book is hedgehog concept. And hedgehog concept comes down to a single question. What can you be the best in the world at? What can you do better than anyone else in the world? And at around the same time, Microsoft had introduced their cloud platform, Azure. This was 2010. So we looked at cloud, we said this is the future, and we are going to be maniacally focused on just doing one and only one thing, which is helping customers adopt Microsoft Cloud. That one decision changed the trajectory of our company. Focus is all about saying yes to one and only one thing and saying no to everything else. And in the beginning, it was hard because we were turning down business that was non-cloud business. But we stuck to it. And that helped us build the brand. So much so, I will give you an example. There were 3 companies competing for a project. And this was a cloud project. And we won. The other company that did not get the project, CEO of that company made the comment that if I have to lose, I would lose to Hanu. I'm happy losing to Hanu because of the brand, because of the respect that we have earned in that ecosystem. So that the focus made all the difference. Being able to be known for doing one and only one thing and doing it better than everybody else. So as a result, customers have started knowing us. Microsoft has started taking us into some of their large accounts. Companies like GE and Johnson & Johnson became our customers. We started winning Partner of the Year awards, both nationally and globally. Azure Partner of the Year award, almost every year we won those awards. And again, that one decision, focus, doing one thing, made all the difference.
In chatting with you and reading about the story too, I would argue, you're really humble about this, but I would argue that the reason you were able to be so successful in that focus is because you had built an incredible company culture. Can you speak a bit to how did you build that culture? Because culture happens. Leading and building culture is very difficult to do. But I believe that Hanu was so successful because of its culture, and you had this great trust with your teams, your team members. That's something I'm obsessed with and thinking about. I think you and I have discussed this a little bit, but so talk about how did you do that? And I know there's no way you did it yourself, right? There's no way we can do that, but talk about the culture, because Hanu was well known for that.
Oh, this is so close to my heart. I always felt as a CEO, we have only 2 jobs. One is to set the right culture within the company, and the second is to drive growth. So the culture in Hanu, we had something called rockstar friendly culture. We never use the word employees in our company. Everyone was a rock star. Everyone was an Azure rock star. And this rock star word had a deep meaning because it was associated with our core values. And our core values were known by the word rock. So R-O-C-K. The first word R was for respect for the individual. O was for openness and transparency. C was for client obsession. and K, Kaizen, continuous learning and continuous improvement. So these were the values that we all subscribe to. And then from the values rock, we came up with Rockstar. And this culture, the very famous Peter Drucker quote that I'm sure most of you have heard, culture eats strategy for lunch. You can have the best strategy, but if you don't have the right culture within the company, it will never work. So I'm happy that we had that rockstar friendly culture. And part of that culture was, John, we were talking about that, the building the culture of appreciation. In most companies, what happens that appreciation flows top down. So a leader will come in and will say, oh, this employee did great work. For us, we made sure that the appreciation, the recognition flows in all directions. Top down, bottom up, peer to peer. So that everyone is feeling good, everyone feeling valued and recognized. And they don't have to wait for a quarterly meeting or monthly meeting for that to be recognized. That was in real time. Being recognized by your peers, being recognized by your manager or someone who is working in your team. I think those things made a huge difference.
What Anil just shared is worth any conversation you could ever have with a business leader. I can tell you that from experience. Incredibly valuable words right there. Thanks, Anil. Okay, leading into 2022 in the acquisition, Insight Enterprises acquired Hanu. What strategies, when you think about that time, you were navigating an incredibly competitive cloud space. What strategies were you employing and really thinking about in industry to help Hanu stay ahead and be ripe for acquisition and then continue to lead after that?
So focus is one of them that I spoke about. We turned down a lot of business that was non-Microsoft cloud business. Second was delivering value to our customers. And I want to take a moment to explain that. So when we had the sales team meeting, right, I would always ask the question, are we begging for business from our customers, or are we earning their business? And there is a subtle difference between the two, begging versus the earning. Earning means you have delivered the value, and the customer is chasing you for sending you that agreement so that they can sign as soon as possible and get started. So the concept of delivering value first is something that worked for us wonders because customers saw the value even before signing the contract with us. And this is something that we did it in a number of ways, but one of the ways that we did it was by using a tool called Hanu Insight. So in the cloud world, the biggest challenge, one of the challenges, the controlling the cloud cost. Because it's very easy to switch on a cloud VM. All you have to do is just check the box. And it's also easy to forget about it. So that VM is always running, right? So how do you control the cost? Because your cost is keep going up. So we built a tool that help customers manage those costs. And even during the first conversation, we'll run the tool, we'll show the customers, here are the savings that you could be having because these are the VMs that are running but not utilized. And that's an example of delivering the value first.
That's also brilliant. If you're familiar with the cloud industry, Hanu invented and really pioneered many of the incredibly needed tools at the time. One of these, the on-off and the ability to turn a VM on and off and know when you should and shouldn't, that was incredibly insightful at the time. I want to point that out, and also that because of their customer obsession, they were able to figure out how to do that. That didn't come out of thin air. It came because you were totally obsessed with delivering remarkable value, not just okay value, but to have the customer chasing you, asking you for more is incredibly brilliant. You mentioned in some of the reading I did, you mentioned that you worked with a life coach. Do you want to talk about that life coach? And when you exited Hanu, you obviously were going through things, you had questions, you wanted to know what to do next, and so you went out and found a life coach. Tell us about this life coach, why did you do it, and then what was some of the transformation that happened from it?
Yep. So before we go into the life coach, I think I should tell you the exit was a very, very emotional moment. The letting go of something that you have built, that you have thought about 24/7 for the last 15 years. It was not easy, and I think, it was easily the hardest decision that I ever made, because it was so emotional. So anyways, so after the exit happened, I was lost. What do I do next? So I consider myself a dreamer and a builder at heart, but I didn't know what to build. Fortunately, I found a coach. Her name is Aise Bursell. She has written a book called Design the Life You Love. And she was kind enough to guide me and help me reflect. And from those reflections, it was quite clear that the foundation of my success was built on the good quality education. And I say, help me discover my true calling, which is education. Now, this chapter of my life is all about helping others, uplifting others, and using education as a vehicle to do that. I still feel that there are lots of barriers to the good quality education, not just in US, I think across the globe. So my life's purpose now is to remove those barriers and make the good quality education accessible to the learners right here in Utah and across the globe. So this is like my calling. This chapter of my life is more about making impact and making uplifting others. My favorite quote is, we rise by lifting others. And that has become my motto for this chapter of my life. And this gives me a lot of happiness.
I love that. You at the time also, well, in a couple of things I read, you said you felt like a free bird. Was that in feeling lost, or was that in identifying what you had talked with Icy about, and then feeling like a free bird that you could go and do anything you chose?
That was more about, that feeling was more letting go. Letting go of something that you have cared so much about and spent your time and energy for 15 years straight. So I think post the exit, I made peace with that decision. And this was a very successful exit, both from a financial perspective and from people perspective. Because Insight, that's the company that acquired Hanu, they had plans to grow our team tenfold. So we felt that our people are going to get opportunities growth opportunities that they would not have had with us. And they are a Fortune 500 company, NASDAQ listed. So they had a lot more investment that they could make in people aspect. So I think that letting go gave me the feeling of, okay, I'm a free bird. Now let's pick a direction that I want to go in. And thanks to, I say, the education is that my calling, and this is my direction for the rest of my life.
Great. Okay. When you decided to focus on education, you had mentioned Andrew, is it Ning? I think, Ning? He called AI the new electricity. And you talked a little bit about, share with us like why you think that is so applicable, and then how AI and why AI for education.
So yeah, once I found my calling, AI was the obvious choice. We firmly believe that just like the last 25 years have been more about computer science and programming, next 25 years are going to be all about AI. So Andrew Ng, bless you. Andrew Ng, who is the famous AI expert, he has said AI is the new electricity. We feel that in 5 to 10 years, AI is going to be like an air that we breathe. It's going to be everywhere, and we will not even notice. So our goal with Saras is all about empowering the next generation, the younger generation, helping them get a meaningful and rewarding employment in AI, and helping them become future AI leaders, compassionate and responsible leaders of tomorrow who can make this world a better place.
Beautiful. Okay. When we think of that incredible vision, it's one thing to take the vision, it's another to put it into practice, right? And so with Saras and the Institute, your goal really is, as you mentioned, empowering the next generation. How are you doing that practically speaking? Because it's a huge challenge to take curriculum, figure out how to draw that curriculum into an AI process, and really deliver skills-based education, competency-based education, and certificates, again, generated and learned with AI. So talk us through some of those challenges you faced and how you're solving for them.
Yeah, so Saras is world's first AI exclusive. So AI is all we teach. This is the 100% focus, AI exclusive. Fully online, higher education institute, proudly based right here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I think the career-focused aspects, let me spend a little time on that. So when we were conceptualizing the institute, one thing we were very clear was on the career-focused aspect. So the first thing we did was we looked at the AI jobs landscape, and we identified the top 3 jobs in AI. And from those jobs, we mapped the skills. Okay, what are the skills that employers are looking for when they hire for these top 3 jobs? And here is what we did different. We not only looked at the AI skills, but we also looked at the soft skills, which we like to call them as human skills. And for those skills, based on those skills, we designed our courses so that by the time our students, our learners graduate, they should check the boxes, all the boxes, not just for the technical skills, but also for the soft skills. I will give you an example of when you talk to the employers. Beyond the technical skills, they look for three key human skills: communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. And we have built the courses around these skills so that our learners, when they graduate, they are able to communicate better. They are able to collaborate better. They are able to become a better leader and have this knowledge about emotional intelligence. So that's our curriculum is really a blend of AI courses and the human skills courses.
Love it. So you talk about stackable certificates and how you're aiming at creating AI experts, right? So how does that apply in what you just described? Why is that so critical? Point this out.
Yeah. So this is a personal story. My daughter is in college. My oldest one is in college, and this is about a month or so back. And she called me, and she was almost in tears. And she said, "Dad, I'm so stressed." Okay, so I tried to be a good dad. I said, "Arusi, take a deep breath. Tell me what's going on." Right? And she said, "Dad, I have taken 6 courses this semester, and I have to write the final exam for all those 6 courses in next 2 weeks, and I have to memorize everything." Right? At that point, I was thinking, okay, you are stressed out. You want to memorize everything for what? Getting an A grade? And I asked myself, who cares about A grade? Who does the employers, the people who are going to hiring her, do they care that she got A? Probably not, right? So one thing that we are doing different in Saras is that even though we are a higher education institute, we have no final exams. No exams. So our semesters are 8 weeks long. In the first 4 weeks, students learn the concept, AI concept. In the last 4 weeks, they implement, they build a project based on that concept. And the idea is very simple. By the time learners graduate, we want them to have not 1, not 2, not 3, a portfolio of AI projects that they can demonstrate to the prospective employers with confidence. I did this project using this skill. And by the way, the code is there on GitHub. That's the discussion that we want to have, that the students showing up for the interview, for the job interview with confidence. That not only I have acquired these skills, but I have also implemented. And here is the proof. Here are the portfolio of projects. So that's one way we are doing it.
It's incredibly brilliant how you're doing this, Neil, because every employer wants to know that an individual has confidence to go find a way to solve a problem and then solve the problem. And they want them to be able to communicate openly about it so that fewer mistakes are made along the way.
Yep.
But they're also okay with failure if you're learning. And so it's so smart how you guys have built this, because it's allowing people and students to fail forward, continue to learn, and then end up with confidence that they've done it over and over.
Exactly. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, it's so great. Okay, why Utah? And how has Utah's culture influenced you to start and have Saras and the Institute here?
I love Utah. Utah is a very forward-thinking state in terms of education, and in terms of entrepreneurship. And the communities that we have here, such as Silicon Slopes, um, Women Tech Council, Tech Moms, so many great communities. And the best part, what gives me so much happiness, that all these communities have welcomed Saras with open heart and open minds, and you know, um, I think that the community aspect is the definitely one of the strong points. And I'm happy that we picked Utah. When we were looking for a home, we looked at lots of estates, and Utah came across as easy to work with and very business friendly, very education friendly state. And I had the opportunity to have a brief discussion with Governor Cox, which I'm a huge fan of Governor and his work. And we talked about how do we make Utah a global leader in AI education. And Saras is that attempt. Saras is that attempt of making Utah the global leader in AI education, and also making AI education accessible to all Utahns. So this is, so I'm very happy that we picked Utah as our home state. I'm very proud and very happy, and I love the support of all the communities that we are getting here.
We love having you here. We're
Thank
fortunate
you.
to have
Thank
you and your team as you're growing. Okay, and as you talk about this vision of really democratizing AI education, starting in Utah and doing that, creating accessibility for anyone to learn, what challenges do you see happening as we go forward? Because you also talk about keeping AI as ethical, safe, and back to the mission, inclusive of anyone that can come and learn the needed skill sets for the future. How will Saras help do that?
So Stuart Russell, who is considered one of the godfathers of AI, and he's very well known for AI ethics and AI safety. He's a professor at UC Berkeley. So Stuart is on our board of advisors. And he advises us on how do we build the curriculum with the emphasis on ethical and responsible uses of AI. And the projects that I was talking about, we always ask our learners to look at the projects that they are building, that how does that benefit humanity? Because we want our learners to use AI for good. And AI, we feel that has the potential to solve our greatest challenges. Imagine giving everyone on the planet the access to quality healthcare. So just imagine the scenario, what if we had unlimited number of doctors? That's feasible. That could happen, and that most likely will happen with the help of AI. So in our beginner course itself, Powers of AI, we spend 1 week, it's an 8-week course, we spend 1 week talking about AI ethics and how do we want to use AI for good, AI for the benefit of humanity. So this is very integral part of our curriculum.
Brilliant. Okay, as we wrap up a little bit, what's one piece of advice for the audience, specifically, more broadly actually, whether it's a student, a professional, an entrepreneur, a wannabe founder that's trying, or a founder that's in process? 1 to 2 pieces of advice that you would take from your life as a plug and say, hey, if you can focus on these things, it'll be tremendously helpful.
So I will quote some of my heroes here. There is a lot of talk about AI wiping out human race and all that. And Satya Nadella, who is the CEO of Microsoft, someone asked him a question, man versus the machine, who is going to win? And he said it very perfectly. His answer was, it is not about man versus the machine. It is man and the machine working together to make this world a better place. And we agree with that sentiment. It's all about AI and humans working together. It's not about AI taking our jobs. It's more about AI augmenting us so that we can do more, we can accomplish more. So I think that mindset that AI is here to help us, we all have to cultivate that mindset. And the second thing is the CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen, someone asked me, if you were a student, what would you learn? And his answer was very straightforward. If I were a student, I would learn AI first. So I think that I will say the same thing, that no matter which stage you are in, whether you are entrepreneur looking to solve a problem, or are you a student starting your educational journey, learn AI. Every job is an AI job. And AI literacy, especially for those younger generation who is going to spend their next 2-3 decades in the workforce, AI literacy is a must. So learn AI. Doesn't matter whether you are in sales or marketing or leadership, learn AI, embrace AI, and take the help. Take the help of AI to solve some of your, tackle some of your challenges.
Exceptional advice. I couldn't help but think about your life as you're talking right now and the advice you're giving, and the uphill battle of having to go find a great tutor after failing, and then sacrificing every day to go learn from that tutor on a bicycle. AI will literally be able to put this into the palm of everyone's hand.
Exactly.
At the same time, I find myself asking this question of, how do we make sure though then that the sacrifice is also still in place, that law of the harvest is still being honored, you know? Like, you come from your grandfather as a farmer, knowing those laws, knowing why it was important, figuring out why education was critical. And I think, you know, I don't want to make you talk too much more, but how do we keep sacrifice as part of the journey when we're getting this all right in the palm of our hands? We can answer any question and we can dive deeper. How do we keep sacrifice there? Because you know, as I've talked to you, it's such a critical part of the human experience of rising up and earning what we learn.
Yes. Technology has made a lot more things a lot more accessible. And I feel that has created its own challenges. Everybody is talking about the mental health crisis in our younger generation. I feel that the younger generation today, they have different set of challenges that they have to overcome. And they will overcome that. And that's going through that, struggling through that, and, you know, thinking that, how am I going to figure this out? That will help build that resilience, that grit, that yes, yeah, it's a crisis, it's a challenge, but I can overcome this, I can move forward, and I can achieve great things in life. So I think I feel that every generation has their own set of challenges that may or may not be same as the previous generation. But when I look at the younger generation today, they definitely have different set of challenges, and mental health is one of them.
That's great. Great insight, Anil. It's so true. Struggle tends to find us. And the real question is, will we ask the right questions, ask the right help from people, because the answers are there and can be found. And your life's a testament to that. So thank you for spending time with us today. This has been incredible.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here, and thank you for the kind words. Now, just like I'm always fascinated by Nike's story and how they make their athletes their heroes. We want to do something similar at Saras. We feel that our learners, our students are our heroes, and I'm happy to say that one of them is here. So I would love to invite Laura to the stage and talk about Saras' experience and a few words on how she is feeling going through the program. So Laura, please.
Yeah. Anil, if you'd like to sit with her, and you're welcome to chat. You can take my seat, and then when we're done, I'll come back up.
So, by the way, this is not scripted. Laura, I'm happy that you are here.
Yeah, thank you for having me here today.
I will give you the full stage. So anything that you want to share, please feel free.
Yeah, so I started with Saras at the beginning of this year. I knew about them through Tech Moms, actually. They posted that they were offering a scholarship. My background is actually in marketing, so I was kind of like, not hesitant, but a little bit of, I don't know, that it was completely out of my comfort zone. But one of the things that I had from Tech Moms is like, try new things. The ecosystem is changing too, so take the opportunities you can. So I did, and it's been really, really, really good, to be honest. I started with the Powers of AI class, and it was a good intro to how the AI is working nowadays, It's basically 8 weeks course where we learn from the very basics, a little bit of history, like, ethics, and, even how we can create our own project. And I was able to complete that, and then I decided to continue. So next semester I took Python, which was really, really difficult, to be honest. But they got me the help I needed. And I took also a productivity class, which was really good, because that could apply to anything. I'm a mom too. As I say, I work full-time in marketing for a startup that it's based in California. So, helping me manage all the aspects in my life was great too. And this semester I am taking cloud computing class, an intro class. And it's just opening like the way I'm thinking even in marketing, how I can apply all this technologies or even like this knowledge. It's helping me to create better campaigns or even see other possibilities that I didn't see before. So I'm really happy with the experience. I also got a life, kind of like a success coach, life coach with Saras, and I've been working with him. He has been my kind of like a friend too. We meet almost twice a month, and we talk about even challenges, goals that I have in my personal life, but also like, how he can help me to succeed in my academics with Saras. So it's been a great experience, and I feel like they have been there for me, and it's also been really, really good. I am happy that I took the chance. Still, I'm struggling, but if there's no struggle, there's no growth, right? So that's where I am, and if you guys have any questions or anything, like I will be happy to answer any of your questions.
I think we have time for a few questions. Anil, if you'd like to join Laura on the stage, and then any questions from the audience, with Scott, field them with Luke, and we'll let the two of you answer for a little bit. We probably 5 minutes of questions, so 2 to 3 things what we'll do.
Hey, Anil, thank you so much, first of all, for coming. You have added so much value today. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
Thank you. You gave us a charge to learn AI. I work in leadership solutions as a coach, and I use it as like a virtual assistant type thing to help me with administrative tasks. But I know what you're telling me today is I can amplify and accelerate and grow more and do more if I learn AI. I'm wondering, could you just briefly and quickly describe for me, when you hear what I do, here's what that means when I say that to you, Russ. When I say learn AI as a leadership coach, do this. How would you define that?
I think we believe that everyone should know the basics of AI. And that's exactly why we created this course, Powers of AI course that Laura is talking about. It's an 8-week course which gives you an understanding of all the different aspects of AI. Most people think that AI is the generative AI, which is the chat GPT, but there are other aspects of AI like deep learning, neural networks, and others. Robotics is another one, right? So we feel that no matter what your job is, no matter what your role is, you should know the basics of AI. And in this 8-week course, you go through that, you learn the basic skills, and you build your first AI project, which is gives you the confidence, right? So this is, I think I will encourage you to look at Powers of AI course and see if that could be helpful to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, Anil. As a lifelong educator and coach, I'm fascinated by the no final exams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite part of the institute. When I was leading Hanu, we were hiring a lot of college graduates, and we saw the gap. So now at Saras, we are applying those learning and trying to see how can we have our graduates better prepared for the industry, right? So that's the that no exam makes me very happy.
Yeah. So my question is, but when you were being coached by IC,
Yeah.
what was the uncomfortable truth or breakthrough in that process, if you're willing to share it, that really propelled you further? I mean, you told the story about the result, but was there an uncomfortable moment that you had to face some truth?
6 months. 6 months. It took me 6 months to figure out. And during those time, I was asking everybody, what should I do? I was asking my mom, my dad, my neighbor. I was asking everyone because not knowing is uncomfortable, you know. And I was not ready to retire, right? And I knew that I wanted to do something to help others, but I just didn't know what. So I think I say as a coach, and I feel that all of us get that feeling from time to time that we are lost, right? And that's exactly why we build this one-on-one success coaching that Laura was talking about, that every student has a coach that they can talk to once a month or twice a month, just to make sure that the motivation is there and there is someone to just cheer them on. You know, sometimes all we need is just someone saying to us that I believe in you and you can do it. You can get through this. So that's why we have the success coaching model built into Saras. But to answer your question, just not knowing, you know, was the uncomfortable side, you know.
And just to add, what you were talking about the coach, one of my breakthrough through like this, I don't know, 5 months, it's a conversation that I had with my coach, and it was about core values. Yeah. And that was something that, you know, I was not expecting, you know, what are my core values? Like, how can I express that even in my education, in my career, in my professional life? So I can kind of like feel what you're saying about not knowing. At some point I was like, is this the right choice? Did I'm going through this? Is this like it's gonna work for me? But kind of having those conversations kind of helped me like, yes, this is kind of the future, and this is also something that I would like to be part on too.
Yeah. So one of the exercises that coaches do with the learners is help them figure out who they really are and where they want to go, right? So what Laura is talking about is more who am I part, and in order to answer that, you have to look at your own personal values. So that's that's what the coaches do to help learners.
Brilliant. We'll do one more question right here, and then we'll wrap up.
Thank you. So I focus on workforce development. My primary area is helping people get jobs. And every job listing we look at talks about AI, how it's important for potential candidates to have those AI skills. But it's so early, people don't know what they really want. And so I'd love your perspective on skills that are so critical for anybody to learn in any area in order to bring to employers what they want, even if they don't know what they want yet.
Yeah, I will tell you, this is like, by the way, I get very excited talking about this. So if I'm talking too much, let me know. You are absolutely correct. AI right now, everybody knows more as a buzzword, right? And a lot of people have questions about, yeah, this sounds great. I want to be part of this. I want to get a job in AI that pays $100,000 plus. Starting salaries, right? But where do I start, right? And I will go back to the Powers of AI course. It's an 8-week course that we created to demystify AI. You come in, you learn the basic skills, you build your first AI project, you look at what are your career choices, and then you take it from there. So this is a first step that gives you that confidence that yes, you can be part of this AI revolution. Yes, you are not going to be left behind, and inspires you to think big, become part of the future, right? So that's exactly why we created this course, and we removed all the barriers. One of the barriers of getting into AI is this mindset of, if you don't have a tech background, you cannot be an AI engineer. That's not the case. We have built this program so that the people who have tech background, as well as people who do not have tech background, can go through the program and get AI jobs. And Laura is a perfect example from someone from marketing background going through this program. So, and the second barrier is always the cost, right? So this for the Powers of AI program, the cost is only $99 for the entire 8-week program, just $99. Sometimes I feel we spend more buying coffee from Starbucks. Right. So just $99. And we have made the entire program really affordable. The associate degree, which is a 60 credit program, is under $12,000, right? We want to remove all the barriers for getting a quality AI education. So this Powers of AI is the first step, and you take it from there.
This has been so good. We've been really enriched today. As we wrap, I want to ask one informative question of Laura.
Yeah.
How did you find Saras? And how can others find Saras?
Yeah, so initially I found through Tech Moms. I was laid off, and then I found Tech Moms, and they gave me kind of the confidence to kind of start thinking about tech as a career. And then one day they posted about Saras on our Slack channel, and I was like, okay, I want to take a look and see what is all this about. And then I apply, and then Anil was kind enough that when he was here in Utah, he was like, I want to meet you too. Like, before anything, I want to meet you. I want to know who you are. And we chat over coffee, and it was great that I feel that was the right fit, because he took the time. He could have just let other people talk to me, and that was it. But he took the time to know me too as well. And then we've been talking and following with all the courses and stuff. So yeah,
It's really inspiring.
I am kind of going to reiterate this, but the support of the communities like Tech Moms and Silicon Slopes and Women Tech Council has been tremendous. This is our growth driver. So, and before we wrap up, a huge round of applause for Laura. I think she really, yes.
It's a lot to be put on the spot, and your story is inspiring. And there are many people who will hear this that I get, maybe a little emotional, because there are a lot of people that are losing jobs right now, and they're very worried, and they need to take care of their families. And so you always have help. There's always someone that will listen, and one of the best ways to do that, honestly, in today's world is education. And if you don't know what to do,
Yeah.
and you're lost, find something to learn, and this is a good starter.
Yep.
So,
John, thank you so
yeah,
much.
thanks everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.